What's up, everybody? I'm Jessekazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. This is another one of our lessons from Beyond the Grave, where we take a look at a clip from my stream where I died. We kind of break down what happened, and we pulled out some information that we can use next time to become better players. I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. And if you liked the video, think about dropping a like or subscribing for more content like this. Subscribing to the channel really helps me out as a creator, so thank you so much to those that do that. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So as always, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the clip in its entirety, and then we'll kind of walk back through it and break down what happened and what we can pull from this encounter. So let's go ahead and check out the clip. It's like, oh yeah. This side now.
See him?
Yep. Along the wall, but this side of the wall now.
Left to right,
right to left.
Okay, drop him back just a little bit.
I just killed one.
I see one. Far side of.
There's two over here, two thick boys.
I think I killed one. Not where you're.
I killed one.
Okay, I'm behind you.
Oh, my nade on me. I'm so freaking pinned, bro. I'm dead. There's two more. One left, one right. So that was a super fun fight regardless of me dying, but that was almost a really kind of epic play there. So we're playing on customs. We're just moving through the map, and with the expansion and with everything going on, you really can find yourself in fights and situations, later in the map or in places you don't normally. So this was a little bit later in the raid. And we're kind of moving in on construction, and we were kind of tracking some people down. We knew we were hearing movement and shots, but we didn't realize that this was, at least two teams of two. I killed this first guy, and then my buddy calls out that he thinks he killed a guy over there as well. And then I see these two guys over here, and it really just kind of popped off super fast, but this was absolutely super fun. So I heard grenades going off over here and shooting after I killed that guy. So I figured he had a teammate, but I wanted to know what was going on over here and kind of keep my advantage of being a little bit further away. And I see these two dudes right here. I take cover. It felt like I maybe should have nailed one of those shots, one of those as a headshot, but on the second guy. But we kind of just got behind cover. We know that there's two more at this point. We try and lob a nade and then go for a repeat. We're able to kind of figure out where this guy is. We kind of pushed him back with that nade, which was nice, and then used that kind of like zero recoil of the MPX to eliminate this guy. The big issue here is right here. So the theme through this video is learning how to be patient with medding and reloading. Now, I had the security of being behind this, and I was going to try and get a med off because I knew that my leg was bleeding. But as soon as I go for this med to stop this bleed, a grenade lands what sounds like near my feet. And so I'm running in this medical animation. And as I peek over, I see this guy. I know that he doesn't see me, which was why I tried to kind of crouch behind this thing. But if I had tried to continue moving on to the other tanker, I would have risked him seeing me, finishing up this med animation, and not being able to make it there and having him just kill me then. So I really didn't want to make that happen. So now I'm stuck. I know that this guy on my left threw the grenade at me and is probably watching where I'm going. And then I know this guy on the right is there. I'm not sure if he sees me. I know this is probably my lesser threat because that other guy was throwing nades at me. He knows I'm there. This guy, I kind of peek on, and I can see that he saw me. So I pull the gun out. I feel like I don't have a lot of time to ADS. I've tried to wide peek because I wanted him to expect that I was going to close peek it, and I wanted him to expect that I was going to try and ADS and line up a shot, and I basically threw a Hail Mary. If I slow peeked that corner tight and tried to ADS, he's already kind of on target on me, and I felt like I would have just died. So I went for like a Hail Mary. I'll peek wide, I'll try to point fire and go for a miracle, or maybe get to this other tanker in time. But it all comes down to the fact that if I wasn't in that medical animation, like when we look at where I catch this second guy initially, he is completely exposed and not looking at me. If I round this corner with my weapon up, all I have to do is crouch and hit him in the head. Then I can continue to push right, and we know that my teammate's still up, and we only have to eliminate one, potentially two more enemies. But because I was caught in this animation, there was really nothing I could do. Of course, yeah, maybe I should have just kept walking and maybe he wouldn't have seen me in time and I could have made it to this tanker. Maybe I should have stayed here after killing this guy, and instead of pushing backwards or instead of pushing to the right from the nade, pushing backwards using this tanker as cover. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, hindsight is 20/20. The thing that I can pull out of this, and we're about to watch another clip, is being a little bit more patient. That bleed on my leg was not going to kill me. No other limb had even really taken damage except for my stomach, which was blacked out, which means the bleed isn't going to affect it at all. So taking an extra second to clear my corner before popping that med would have meant I would have been able to kill that guy and get away from that grenade a little bit easier, or even peek the guy who threw the grenade and caught him in the grenade throwing animation. So of course, it's always good to heal bleeds. It's always good to make sure that you're taken care of. But I think the thing here is, like, especially when you're in a firefight with multiple enemies, assessing the priority of, do I need to be in danger mode where I have the ability to kill somebody? And is this heal, how important is this heal? Is this going to save my life? You know, is it going to save the leg? I had a little bit of time. Bleeds don't take that much damage. Now, maybe with 12-8 and the heavy bleed, this would have been much more important, but in this situation, it wasn't so much. So we didn't quite connect on this one, and let's go ahead and take a look at a second clip where a similar situation happens. So the setup here is that I was running with a duo. The duo died. I was able to kill the guy that killed my duo. I just went and ditched my duo's gear, and now I'm coming back to kind of see what's going on with the gear. What did this guy have and what I can take? And then this happens. Now, that death was definitely a little bit desyncy. It seems like I kind of died behind the wall here. Of course, on his client, I'm sure that he saw me. It's always frustrating to die like that. But something that, you know, once again, going back to the being patient thing, I think I would have stood a little bit of a chance here if I had waited just even a second to figure out where this guy was, because we knew that there were a bunch of them. After I killed the first guy and I started hearing shots from the other guy, we were hearing footsteps. After killing this second dude, I wasn't exactly sure if there was another one, but it definitely wasn't a situation where I was like, oh, I saw that was a duo, I killed them both, I'm good. I only saw one, there ended up being more. So I was definitely not in safe mode. After killing the second guy, I wasn't like, oh, sweet, I'm good to go. Now, there's definitely a balance here, right? Because with a Val or a VSS, I did have 30 rounders, but these things shoot an incredibly high fire rate, and 30 rounders are the highest you can go. Oftentimes after you eliminate a guy, you want to reload to make sure you've got that full mag. This guy used that to his advantage and pushed me while I was reloading, and used that audio cue. And I didn't realize he was that close. And it's really a balance here, right? This situation kind of could have gone either way. I put a decent amount of shots into this guy. But one thing I've noticed that a lot of the higher level people do, a lot of the people that are able to connect and get out of a lot of firefights, is really knowing how to manage their magazines and knowing when to and to not reload. Now, once again, it's a balance. This really could have gone either way. I had probably 5 or 10 rounds left in this mag, which isn't a lot. But if this guy peeks around the corner like this and I've got my gun up, I can either damage him or I could have killed him with just those few rounds and then gone for the reload. Alternatively, in this situation, because I know I knew that I wasn't quite safe yet, I could have gone for a combat reload. And I think that would have been the balance between you know, should I reload or should I not in this situation? So for those that don't know, if you double tap R, you'll combat reload, which means you'll reload, but you'll drop your magazine on the floor. You will not put it back into your rig, and you'll be able to put the other mag in a little bit faster. especially considering when we watch this, how close I was to completing the reload before the guy peeks. I mean, all I've got to do is seat it right there. Now, I'm way too exposed. This guy's going to shoot me, so I have to kind of get behind cover here. But I was so close to completing the reload that a combat reload would have 100% put me in that time frame, and I would have been able to eliminate that guy. So it's a balance. This is definitely not something where, you know, we watch this clip and it's like, oh, okay, in every situation I need to make sure to do that. Once again, I'm not saying that you should always like wait to reload, because oftentimes you can get killed by waiting too long to reload and then not having enough ammo in a fight. But I think for me, oftentimes I'm scared of running out of bullets, and that doesn't happen very often. As long as you're conscious of what magazine you have, how many rounds it holds, and what your last firefight has, a lot of times that fear, and this goes back to the clip as well, that fear of if I don't med right now, that fear of if I don't reload right now, the audio cues for both of those things are absolutely perfect cues for other people to push you. So if there is a person close, if there's somebody nearby and they hear that audio cue of the med, they hear that audio cue of the reload, they're gonna push. So in a situation like this where I wasn't quite safe, I wasn't sure what was going on, maybe taking a minute to back off before I reload, hitting a combat reload, or waiting to hear some enemy footsteps in this particular situation probably would have netted me a victory there. So it's Tarkov, right? So death teaches us a lot. It's going to be one of those things where sometimes you'll wait for the reload and you'll die. Sometimes you'll go for the reload and you'll die, and you'll kind of put together a profile and start to learn what those situations are, like the top tier players do. So that's kind of the tip of the day, is don't be too kind of like petrified. Don't be too paralyzed by feeling like you have to reload, you have to med immediately. It's all about being able to, as quickly as possible, assess the situation, even after you kill a guy or after you take some damage, and figure out what the right play is. Cut yourself some slack, learn from your mistakes, and kind of move on from there. So I hope that this helped. And I hope that this helped maybe you pull some information and some tips for you to do if you die in these scenarios often. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you like it, think about dropping it a like or subscribing for more content like this. I'm always trying to create content to help shorten the learning curve of Tarkov and get you and your raids having fun as soon as possible. Like we said before, I stream on Twitch. All my links will be down below. We also have an awesome Discord community that's got over 3,000 members. If you're new to Tarkov, if you've been playing for a really long time, and everywhere in between, there's people that you can hang out with, run raids with, and all sorts of stuff like that. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.